On Friday, a jury in Los Angeles found the rapper Tory Lanez guilty of 3 felonies in connection with the shooting of hip-hop singer Megan Thee Stallion in the year 2020. The trial had been fraught with tension, and the courtroom had been disorderly as a result. The assault left her with bullet pieces in both of her feet, and if Lanez is convicted, he may spend more than 20 years in prison as a result of the incident. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at Tory Lanez found guilty of Megan Thee Stallion shooting trial. Yeah, you heard it right. During the reading of the verdict, Lanez did not appear to react in any way, despite the fact that he was placed in handcuffs and led to jail while wearing a powder pink coat and matching slacks. But a few seconds later, after the jury was let out of the building, his father, Sunstar Peterson, sprang to his feet and said, "This wicked system stands judge before God Almighty," as the law enforcement officers closed in on him. Peterson then yelled at the 2 prosecutors, pointing to them and saying, "You two are nasty, wicked people. You're well aware of what you've done." The deputies had to put a significant amount of effort into wrestling him out of the courthouse, where he was shouting in the corridor. After deliberating since Thursday, the jury of 7 women and 5 men found the Canadian rapper Daystar Peterson, 30, guilty of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded and unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. Tory Lanez's legal name is Daystar Peterson, and he was 30 years old at the time of his conviction. The fact that there were aggravating factors in the attack was another point of consensus among the jurors. Hence, Lanez faces the possibility of up to 22 years in jail and deportation when he is sentenced on January 25th. The verdict was read aloud in the presence of 3 small children, one of whom was Lanez's son. They sat in the front row of the courtroom. Before she joined in on her husband's yelling, Lanez's stepmother comforted a young girl who was crying by giving her a hug. She herself was also crying at the time. As he was being let out of the room, other people in the audience yelled their approval, and one woman yelled, "We love you, Tory." During most of the 8 days of the trial, Megan and Lanez's supporters congregated outside of the courthouse and packed both the courtroom and the corridor inside. The atmosphere occasionally became strained, but for the most part, it stayed calm until the judgment was announced. During the course of the trial, Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, testified that rapper Tory Lanez fired a handgun at the back of her feet and yelled for her to dance as she walked away from an SUV in which they had been riding in the Hollywood Hills in the summer of 2020. She claimed that the two had gotten into an argument, which had turned particularly heated when she began criticizing the musician's work. In order to remove the bullet's fragments from her foot, she required surgery. After the verdict, her lawyer, Alex Spiro, said that the jury got it right and said that he was thankful that there is justice for Meg. Lanez's lawyer, George McDezian, said that they were shocked by the verdict. There was not sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Peterson, McDezian said in a statement. "We believe this case was not proven beyond a reasonable doubt. We'll be exploring all options, including an appeal." The shooting sparked a firestorm of cultural issues and debates, many of which reached their zenith during the trial. These debates and issues included the reluctance of Black victims to speak to the police, the protection of Black women, gender politics in hip-hop, and the toxic environment that can be found online. During their closing statements, the prosecution emphasized how courageous it was for Megan to come out and how much backlash the 27-year-old endured as a result of her decision. They claimed that she had no reason to lie and had nothing to gain by doing so. Following the verdict, District Attorney Judge Gascon sent his congratulations to her. "You demonstrated amazing courage and vulnerability with your evidence despite repeated and cruel attacks that you did not deserve." Gascon said in a statement, "Your testimony was given in spite of the fact that you did not deserve them. You were subjected to an unfair and terrible level of scrutiny that no woman should ever have to experience." During the closing argument, the attorney for Lanez asserted that the rounds were actually fired by Kelsey Harris, who at the time was Megan's best friend. Harris was allegedly jealous of Lanez, who was attempting to halt the shooting. The defense attorney, George McDezian, suggested that Megan fabricated a narrative that made her appear more sympathetic by attributing the incident to Lanez. Megan Pete is a dishonest person. Right from the start, she lied about everything that had to do with the case, McDezian stated. When she was under oath, she lied about this. Harris has always maintained that he was not the person to pull the trigger and has pointed the finger of blame at Lanez. In an email, her attorney politely declined to comment on her involvement in the matter. In 2009, Lanez started releasing mixtapes, and after seeing his fame steadily increase, he moved on to releasing albums on major labels. His 2 most recent albums debuted in the top 10 on the Billboard charts. At the time of the shooting, Megan Thee Stallion had already established herself as a huge emerging star, and her prominence has only grown since then. She was awarded the Grammy for a Best New Artist in 2021, and she topped the Billboard Hot 100 with the tracks Savage, which she co-wrote and performed with Beyonce, and WAP, which she did as a guest performer with Cardi B. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so that you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.